Two themed casino resorts on the Las Vegas Strip compete to extract the most money from visitors through an elaborate web of fees and charges. Paris, Las Vegas, with its half-scale Eiffel Tower and French theming, squares off against New York, New York, featuring miniature Manhattan skyscrapers and a Statue of Liberty replica. Behind the glamorous facades lies a calculated revenue machine designed to nickel and dime guests at every turn. You might think these properties simply offer immersive experiences that transport you to iconic destinations. Paris. Las Vegas cost $785 million to build and opened in 1999, targeting middle-class tourists with 3,672 hotel rooms spread across 24 acres. New York. New York came first, opening in 1997 for $460 million, featuring 2,024 rooms housed within replicas of 12 Manhattan skyscrapers, each roughly one-third the size of their real counterparts. The real story is not about architectural ambition. It is about how these properties have evolved into sophisticated fee extraction operations that generate hundreds of millions of dollars in additional revenue beyond basic room rates. Let's start with the most notorious cash grab, resort fees. In 2025, Paris Las Vegas charges guests $54.95 per day, plus tax, bringing the actual daily hit to approximately $62. New York. New York appears more reasonable at $45 per day, totaling approximately $51 after tax. These are not optional amenities. They are mandatory charges tacked onto every stay, regardless of whether you use the included services. What do you get for these mandatory fees? Paris includes local calls, fitness center access for 2 people, Wi-Fi for 2 devices, and a premium Wi-Fi upgrade. New York. New York throws in unlimited domestic long-distance calls, boarding pass printing, digital newspapers, fitness center access, and perhaps most notably, 2-for-1 passes for their signature Big Apple coaster. On paper, New York's package seems more generous, especially with the roller coaster benefit. Here's where the mathematics of the fee machine become clear. With 3,672 rooms, compared to New York's 2,024 rooms, Paris Las Vegas operates what amounts to a resort fee factory. Assuming 85% occupancy, a conservative estimate for strip properties, Paris generates approximately $62.7 million annually in resort fees alone. New York, with fewer rooms and lower fees, still extracts around $28.2 million yearly. Paris. Las Vegas literally makes 2.2 times more money from resort fees than its themed competitor. The resort fee. Evolution tells a broader story about Las Vegas tourism. These charges did not exist when either property opened. They were gradually introduced and then systematically increased. As properties discovered they could advertise lower room rates while burying the true costs in mandatory add-ons. Industry experts estimate that resort fees across the Strip now generate over $1 billion a year, a staggering sum extracted from visitors who often discover these charges only at checkout. Recent federal intervention has attempted to address this practice. In May 2025, new FTC regulations required hotels to include all mandatory fees in their upfront advertised rates, except for occupancy taxes. Hotels violating this rule face fines of up to $51,744 per violation. The regulation does not eliminate resort fees. It simply requires transparency in advertising. Properties can still charge these fees. They just cannot hide them in the fine print. Beyond resort fees, both properties extract revenue through parking charges that would have been unthinkable when they opened. Self-parking costs $20 to $25 per day, while valet parking is around $40 per day. These parking fees hit visitors immediately upon arrival, setting the tone for their fee-heavy experience. Most Las Vegas visitors drive or rent cars, making parking fees virtually unavoidable for the majority of guests. The signature attractions at each property represent another revenue stream, though with different approaches. Paris charges $27.25 for access to the Eiffel Tower observation deck, offering 360-degree views from 460 feet up. The half-scale replica cost millions to construct, with 3 of its 4 massive steel legs built inside the casino itself, an engineering feat that created obvious tourist appeal. New York's Big Apple coaster charges between $19 and $25 depending on time and package, with the ride reaching speeds up to 67 miles per hour and featuring a signature 180-degree heartline twist. The coaster serves more than 1.4 million riders annually, representing substantial revenue beyond basic gambling and lodging. New York. New York includes coaster passes in their resort fee package, essentially forcing all guests to subsidize the attraction whether they ride it or not. The property's different approaches reflect their distinct business philosophies. Paris Las Vegas positions itself as a premium experience, with higher fees and more extensive amenities. The property invested $92 million in renovations during 2019, adding an elaborate nightly Eiffel Tower light show that cost $1.7 million to create. In 2023 and 2024, Caesars added the $100 million Versailles Tower, incorporating 756 additional rooms from the adjacent former Horseshoe property, further expanding their FEE generating capacity. New York. New York has remained more static in terms of physical expansion, maintaining its original 2024 room count since opening. This has not prevented the property from maximizing revenue extraction through its existing footprint. The resort underwent significant facade renovations between 2013 and 2014 as part of MGM's broader development initiatives, but focused more on maintaining existing guest capacity rather than expanding it. The corporate ownership structures also influence fee strategies. Paris operates under Caesars Entertainment, which manages multiple strip properties and can implement coordinated fee policies across its portfolio. New York falls under MGM Resorts International, which similarly operates numerous strip properties with standardized fee structures. This consolidation has essentially eliminated fee competition between properties, as the major operators coordinate their pricing strategies rather than competing on transparency. The human cost of these fee structures becomes apparent when examining Las Vegas tourism trends. Visitor numbers dropped 7.4% in 2025, falling to 35.4 million, levels not seen since the early 2000s. Industry analysts directly cite increased fees as a primary factor in this decline. Average room rates climbed nearly 70% from 2015 to 2025, rising from about $124 to roughly $210 per night, while resort fees were simultaneously introduced and increased. International tourism has been particularly impacted, with Canadian visitors, traditionally Las Vegas's largest international segment, dropping 24% in 2024. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority noted that families and price-sensitive travelers increasingly view Las Vegas as no longer offering the value proposition that historically drove visitation. The perception of being nickel and dimed has fundamentally altered how potential visitors evaluate Las Vegas as a destination. Consider a typical family staying 3 nights at Paris, Las Vegas. Beyond their room rate, they face $186 in resort fees, potentially $75 in parking charges, and additional fees for any signature experiences. A family of 4 visiting the Eiffel Tower observation deck pays over $100 for the privilege. These auxiliary charges can easily equal or exceed the advertised room rates, fundamentally misrepresenting the true cost of a Las Vegas vacation. The fee structures also create operational incentives that shape the guest experience. Properties invest heavily in systems to capture additional revenue, rather than focusing solely on hospitality excellence. Front desk staff are trained to upsell room categories, dining packages, and attraction bundles. Even basic services like Wi-Fi, once considered standard hospitality amenities, are bundled into mandatory resort fees rather than provided as genuine customer service. Both properties have faced various controversies related to their fee practices. Paris Las Vegas experienced significant operational challenges, including a 12-hour power outage in 2016 that trapped guests in elevators, yet continued charging full resort fees during the service disruption. New York faced legal challenges over their Statue of Liberty replica and ultimately paid $3.5 million to sculptor Robert Davidson for copyright infringement, a cost likely passed on to guests through increased fees. The broader Las Vegas Strip context reveals how these two properties fit into an industry-wide transformation. Resort fees now range from $45 to $55 per night before tax at most Strip properties, with luxury resorts like Aria, Bellagio, and Wynn approaching the higher end of this spectrum. The standardization of these fees across properties suggests coordinated pricing rather than competitive market forces. Looking at pure revenue generation capacity, Paris-Las Vegas emerges as the more effective fee machine. With 81% more rooms than New York, and higher per-room charges, Paris extracts significantly more money from visitors through mandatory fees alone. The property's recent expansion through the Versailles Tower addition further increased their fee-generating capacity, allowing them to process more guests through their revenue extraction systems. New York's approach focuses on efficiency rather than scale. Their inclusion of roller coaster access and resort fees creates perceived value while ensuring all guests subsidize the attraction regardless of usage. This model maximizes revenue extraction from their smaller room inventory by bundling high-margin experiences into mandatory charges. The ultimate winner in this fee machine competition depends on how you measure success. If raw revenue extraction is the metric, Paris-Las Vegas dominates through sheer scale and higher fees. If efficiency and guest psychology matter more, New York's bundling strategy creates an appearance of value while still extracting substantial fees. Both properties represent the broader transformation of Las Vegas, from a destination focused on gambling revenue to one that extracts money through dozens of small charges across every aspect of the guest experience. The theme facades and elaborate architectural replicas serve primarily as marketing tools to justify increasingly sophisticated fee structures that would be difficult to implement at generic hotels. As Las Vegas continues to grapple with declining tourism and changing visitor expectations, these fee-heavy business models may prove unsustainable. The short-term revenue gains from resort fees and auxiliary charges appear to be driving away the price-sensitive visitors who historically formed the backbone of Las Vegas tourism. Whether Paris or New York proves the superior fee machine may ultimately be irrelevant if their collective practices continue to erode the value proposition that made Las Vegas America's premier entertainment destination. The real question is not which themed resort extracts more money from guests. It is whether this extraction-focused approach can sustain long-term tourism success in an increasingly competitive entertainment landscape.